Prime field.
UConn went 38-1, had the nation's #1 defense, and still might enter 2027 with its most dangerous roster problem in a decade. Because Azzi Fudd is gone, Serah Williams is gone, the Paige Beckers era creation safety net is gone, and now Serah Strong has to become more than great. She has to become the entire system. This is not just a roster breakdown, this is the 7 skill checklist that decides whether UConn wins like the 2027 national title, or gets trapped in March by its own spacing. Because the scary part is not that UConn lost talent. The scary part is that UConn lost gravity. Azzi Fudd was not just 17 points a night. She was the defender who could not help. She was the shooter who stretched the weak side. She was the reason Serah Strong could catch the ball without immediately seeing 2 bodies. So now the question is simple. Can UConn replace star power with skill development? Because if they cannot, the Huskies might be loaded, but not complete. The first and most important leap belongs to Serah Strong. And let's be clear, Strong was already absurd. 18.4 points per game, 7.7 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 3.4 steals. Nearly 58% from the field, over 40% from 3, over 83% from the line. She was the National Player of the Year. She won the Naismith. She won the Wade Trophy. She won AP Player of the Year. That is not the question. The question is what happens when every defense stops worrying about Azzi Fudd and starts loading everything at Serah Strong. Because Fudd's 45% three-point shooting was not just shooting, it was oxygen. Without that oxygen, Strong's usage has to climb from around 22% into the 28 to 30% range. That is a massive shift. And if she's going to survive that kind of load, she cannot just be an elite finisher. She has to become a heliocentric offensive hub. That means 3 things: post-passing under immediate double teams, high-low timing with the bigs, and off-ball screening that creates easy offense for everyone else. When Strong catches on the block, the defense is going to send help fast, not eventually, immediately. So her next leap is not just scoring through contact. It is reading the weak side before the trap fully arrives. It is hitting the cutter before the window closes. It is turning a double team into a layup, a corner 3, or a defensive scramble. If Strong becomes that kind of hub, UConn can win the national title. If she only becomes a higher volume scorer, the court gets smaller. And when the court gets smaller in March, the season gets dangerous. The second leap is KK Arnold. Arnold was already a lead in one championship-level category. Balls security, 174 assists, only 43 turnovers, a 4.05 assist-to-turnover ratio. Second in the nation. That is ridiculous. That is winning basketball. But here's the problem. She averaged only 6.9 points per game. She attempted only 57 threes all season. In the post-Fudd offense, that cannot be enough. Because defenders cannot look at Arnold and think she's only trying to pass. They have to fear the pull-up. They have to fear the stop-and-start drive. They have to fear her turning a ball screen into a scoring chance instead of just a setup pass. This is where her development becomes specific. She needs to become a shot manipulator, pull-ups off dribble handoffs, change of pace attacks in the lane. Floaters before the big can recover. Paint touches that actually force the defense to rotate. The benchmark is tough. She has to keep the assist-to-turnover ratio above 3.5 while raising her scoring into double figures. That is the leap. Because safe guards keep an offense organized. Scary guards bend the defense. And UConn needs Arnold to do both. The third leap might be the most obvious. Ashlyn Shade has to shoot it like Ashlyn Shade again. As a sophomore, she shot 41.1% from 3. As a junior, she dropped to 31.8%. That regression is not just a number. It changes the entire geometry of the offense. When Shade is a 40% shooter, her defender has to stay attached. That means Serah Strong gets cleaner post touches. That means KK Arnold has more room to drive. That means UConn's cutters have lanes. But when Shade is closer to 32%, the weak side defender cheats down. The paint gets crowded. The double team arrives faster. And suddenly every possession feels like traffic. So Shade's development cannot just be shoot better. It has to be sharper than that. Footwork off stagger screens, faster release on catch-and-shoot looks, better balance when sprinting into threes, cleaner relocation after the ball enters the post. Her target is at least 38% from 3 on real volume. Not 1 or 2 attempts. Real volume. Because UConn does not need Shade to become Azzi Fudd. That is unfair. But UConn does need Shade to restore enough perimeter gravity that defenses cannot ignore her. If she does, the whole offense opens. If she does not, Strong will be fighting 2 defenders all season. The 4th leap belongs to Blanca Quiñonez, and she might be the player casual fans are most likely to underrate. As a freshman, she averaged 10.7 points, 3.1 rebounds, 2.1 assists, and 2 steals in only 20 minutes per game. She won Big East Freshman of the Year. She won Sixth Woman of the Year. But the real reason her ceiling is so interesting is her background. Blanca is not a normal sophomore. She was playing professionally in Italy's Serie A1 with Magnolia Campobasso. She debuted at just 14 years old. In her final European season, she averaged 11 points and 2.2 steals. So when people talk about her being young, they miss the point. She has already played against grown professionals. Now UConn needs that experience to become high-volume college production. Her leap is from explosive bench weapon to reliable starting-level scorer. That means better perimeter shooting, better transition decision-making, a more controlled mid-range pull-up, and fewer chaotic possessions where aggression turns into mistakes. At 6'2", Blanca has the size to punish smaller wings. She has the physicality to rebound. She has the instincts to pass. But the next step is control. If Blanca becomes a 15-point-per-game wing, UConn's offense changes completely. Strong does not have to create every late-clock answer. Arnold does not have to force scoring possessions. Shade does not have to carry all the spacing pressure. But if Blanca stays only an explosive reserve, UConn becomes easier to scout. And in March, easy to scout can become easy to stop. The 5th leap is Olivia Vukosa. Big O arrives with a monster resume, 6'4", number 3 recruit in the class, 2-time Gatorade New York Player of the Year, 2026 Gatorade National Player of the Year. Her senior year numbers sound fake. 17.8 points, 18.1 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 4.4 blocks. And internationally with Croatia at the FIBA Under-17 World Cup, she averaged 19.4 points and 15.6 rebounds. That is dominance. But here's the important part. High school dominance does not automatically equal college defensive discipline. Her most important skill development is not just blocking shots. It is staying on the floor. Can she defend pick and rolls without fouling? Can she play drop coverage without giving up open pull-ups? Can she stay vertical when guards attack her chest? Can she rebound without reaching? That matters because Serah Williams is gone. Williams gave UConn 6.7 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks in only 17.4 minutes. She was a real backline presence. Now UConn needs Vukosa to replace rim protection without creating foul trouble. The target is not just blocks. The target is control. UConn needs the frontcourt to hold opponents under 36.5% at the rim and keep the team defensive rating under 70. If Vukosa adjusts quickly, UConn can build another elite defense. If she struggles with fouls, the whole frontcourt rotation gets fragile. And that leads to the next problem. The 6th leap is not about one player, it is about the entire frontcourt. Because UConn's frontcourt depth is suddenly young, thin, and under pressure. Serah Williams is gone. Ice Brady transferred to Florida State and is out for the 2026 to 2027 season after knee surgery. Ayanna Patterson's gone too, after never fully cracking the rotation. That leaves UConn leaning on Olivia Vukosa, Jana El-Alfi, and Gandhi Malu-Mammal. And the biggest question is whether that group can defend modern offenses. Jana El-Alfi has the size. At 6'5", she gives UConn length. But the skill leap is lateral mobility. Because in March, teams will drag UConn's bigs into ball screens over and over. They will test their feet. They will test their communication. They will test whether UConn can survive outside the paint. So this front court cannot just stand tall and drop coverage. They need soft hedges, late switches, recovery angles, better screen-level discipline, and the ability to survive when guards snake the ball screen into the middle of the floor. That is the difference between a great regular season defense and a championship defense. UConn's defense was number 1 nationally with a 68.9 defensive rating. To stay at that level, the front court has to be more than big. It has to be versatile. The 7th leap is Jovana Popovic, and this one could change the entire backcourt. Popovic is a 5'8" Serbian guard from ZKK Art Basket. At just 17, she was already the Serbian First League MVP and best shooter. Before signing, she was averaging 26.6 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 7.2 assists. That is not just a recruit, that is a player who already knows how to produce. But her adjustment will decide how quickly she earns real minutes. American college guards are faster, they're stronger, they pressure the ball differently, they attack vertically at the rim. So Popovic's first challenge is defensive. She has to learn UConn's off-ball rules quickly. She has to survive point-of-attack pressure. She has to be in the right spot when the rotation happens. But offensively, her role is clear. She has to make help defense expensive. When Serah Strong catches the ball and the defense collapses, Popovic has to punish it. When KK Arnold drives and the weak side shifts, Popovic has to be ready. When defenses dare a freshman to beat them from 3, she has to make them regret it. The benchmark is simple. Shade and Popovic together need to make at least 3.5 threes per game, because that is how UConn rebuilds spacing after Fudd. Not with one player, with collective gravity. This kind of transition has happened before at UConn, and history gives 2 very different lessons. The optimistic version is 2016-17. That team had to replace Breanna Stewart, Mariah Jefferson, and Morgan Tuck. Most programs collapse after losing that much star power. UConn did not. They pivoted. Nafisa Collier and Gabby Williams helped create a more fluid, positionless system built on front-court passing, movement, and defensive pressure. That is the blueprint. A dominant forward hub can keep UConn elite even without a singular perimeter creator. But there is also a warning. The 2021-22 team showed what happens when young guards are pushed into creation roles before everything is ready. After Paige Beckers' injury, the half-court offense could stall. The defense kept them alive, but the offensive rhythm was not always clean. That is the danger for 2027. If UConn does not have enough shot creation around Strong, the offense can become predictable. If the shooters do not hit enough, the spacing collapses. If the young bigs cannot defend ball screens, the defense becomes vulnerable. So this is not just about talent. UConn always has talent. This is about whether the right skills develop at the exact right time. So the title formula is not mysterious. Serah Strong has to become the offensive hub. Not just the best player, the hub. KK Arnold has to become a scoring threat while keeping elite ball security. Ashlyn Shade has to restore the spacing by getting back near 38 to 40% from 3. Blanca Quiñonez has to make the sophomore leap from elite reserve to high-volume wing scorer. Olivia Vukosa has to protect the rim without living in foul trouble. Jovana Popovic has to become immediate spacing and secondary playmaking, and the front court has to switch well enough to survive March. That is the path. But here's the scary part. UConn probably does not need all 7 to hit perfectly, but they cannot miss too many. If Strong becomes the hub, Shade shoots it, and Vukosa protects the rim, UConn can win everything. If Arnold becomes a scorer and Blanca becomes a 15-point wing, this team becomes terrifying. If Popovic adjusts quickly, the spacing problem might disappear faster than expected. But if 2 or 3 of these skills do not develop, UConn becomes easier to guard. Still elite, still dangerous, still capable of reaching the Final Four, but maybe not complete enough to win the title. And that is what makes this season fascinating. The championship window is open right now, but it will not be won by names alone. It'll be won by micro skills, by Strong passing out of traps, by Arnold making defenders pay, by Shade bending the weak side, by Blanca turning pro experience into college production, by Vukosa staying vertical, by Popovic spacing the floor, by the front court moving its feet when everything is on the line. Because in 2027, UConn's biggest opponent might not be South Carolina, UCLA, LSU, or anyone else. It might be the spacing math. And if the Huskies solve that math, they can cut down the nets. So here's the question. Which skill leap matters most for UConn's 2027 title run? Serah Strong becoming the offensive hub? Ashlyn Shade fixing the spacing? KK Arnold becoming a scorer? Or Olivia Vukosa protecting the rim? Drop your answer in the comments. Subscribe for more college basketball breakdowns. And share this with one UConn fan who thinks talent alone wins championships. Because in 2027, development is not optional, it is the championship.
Prime Field!